CHGO White Sox post-game show, coming to you live from Studio A of our CHGO offices here from the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, Herb Lawrence. Hello. Our CHGO White Sox community leader. You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll be joined later on in the show from Guaranteed Rate Field by our CHGO White Sox beat writer, Vinnie Duber. We're being produced today by Sarah.
Hello.
And you have the history drop, Sarah. This is a very important day. You do.
History!
The Chicago White Sox have lost their 100th game of the season on August 25th. There are 31 games left, and they are not the fastest team to 100 losses. The 1916 Philadelphia A's, who were going through World War I at the time, lost 100 games in 130 games. The White Sox did it in 131. So just by the skin of their teeth, Herb.
Can't even be the worst. The best at being the worst. Goddamn White Sox. But, man, they've earned this. It was a very boring, terrible game where the White Sox committed 4 errors. Typical White Sox baseball.
And
yes.
And if you're looking outside of, years that our country was going through a war, if you just look since 1961, and I guess Vietnam was a thing.
Yeah.
That's true. There was also, I don't need to go through all of our wars.
But more like World War
Great
II.
Wars.
Yeah, World War II took a lot of people who were playing Major League Baseball off the field to defend their country. I'm not sure. In Korean War, same thing. And the Vietnam War is where I think we saw fewer people go to war.
Right. Well,
via MLB and other sports.
Yeah. But from 1961, anyway, it's weird. Swerve there.
You came here for baseball, geopolitical talk.
Hey,
next.
We can get into it. In the span of 131 games from 1961, the Chicago White Sox are the worst. The 2003 Detroit Tigers were 33-98 after 131 games, and the 1962 Mets that famously went on to lose 120 games that holds the current record for most losses in a season. They were 33-98 as well after 131 games. Your Chicago White Sox are 31-100. So they have
history.
Thank you. They have a 2-game gap between the Tigers, the 2003 Tigers, and the 1962 Mets. Sox are the only team to lose 100 before August 25th. Those two teams are the only teams to lose 100 before the start of September. The Sox joined them. They have a nice cushion here. They're on pace to lose 124. They're on pace to get, mopped again by the Detroit Tigers. Dan from the 219 saying they're 3-32 versus KC, Minnesota, and Detroit. And on top of this, Detroit handed the White Sox their first loss of the year. They handed them their 100th loss of the year. And we see Detroit later on in the year, so they can just cap this all off and hand us loss number 1, loss number 100, and loss number 120, 121, and 122, if we're lucky.
And that's the fourth place team that's not looking towards the playoffs. The 3 top teams, they're playoff teams. The Guardians, which weirdly enough, the White Sox have split 5-5 this year, lost all but 1 versus the Royals, all but 1 versus the Twins, all but 1 versus the Tigers, and the Tigers are like, delicious. Let's keep on feeding on these White Sox. You look at that damn Tigers lineup, there is nothing there. That is a mediocre to bad lineup, and they're out here just having the time of their lives. Kerry Carpenter is your mans?
Hey.
Kerry Carpenter is your mans, and he's out here embarrassing you White Sox? Man. Wouldn't be me, man.
Well, and they got, their guy Spencer Torkelson batting 6th, and they sent him down to AAA. I mean, it's not like this is a great Shakes lineup, as you said.
No.
This is a team that's barely at 500. They're 10.5 back in the AL Central, and they still have a 34-game lead over the Chicago White Sox.
34 games better than that team.
They're in 4th place.
You saw that damn team play. That Tigers team play this whole weekend. And the White Sox
they were sellers at the deadline.
Yeah.
They traded Flaherty to the Dodgers.
Like, the best player on their team is their starting pitcher who pitches once every 5 games. And you saw him pitch last night. Of course, Tarek Skubal is great. But all the rest of that is mediocre at best.
At best. Yeah. And somehow they have a decent average record against Cleveland this year. What's that?
Green's fine.
Riley Green's fine. I mean, they're a team like the White Sox that have a better pitching infrastructure than hitting infrastructure.
Yeah.
But, like, they got, I think, probably players that will pop for them sooner. I mean, Green will likely be on the team next year. Robert won't be on the team next year. Torkelson and Vaughn are about a horse apiece.
Yeah.
You got Kerry Carpenter. I don't think we have a Kerry Carpenter.
No, we don't have a Kerry Carpenter. I wish we had a Kerry Carpenter.
I wish we had a Kerry Carpenter.
I wish we had a Zach McKinstry.
No, yeah,
and
we don't
he
have
is
one of those.
mediocre as hell, too.
Yeah. Hey, McKinstry, though, he does fit in with the White Sox. He's hitting under 210. I did look this up because there's a ton of sub-225 hitters in the Chicago White Sox. Since 1961, the Chicago White Sox are tied for 13th worst team in Major League Baseball history with the most players with a sub-225 average. 17 hitters on the Chicago White Sox have a sub-225 average. And, hey, it's weirdly not even the worst White Sox team ever. The 1968 White Sox had 17 players with a sub-225 average. And when we've talked to Cody Delmendo of the Cubs team, he told us that the 2021 team was worse than this current team. I don't know if he's right about that, but the 2021 team of the Chicago Cubs had 20 players with a sub-20 batting average. I do see Jake Arrieta's name on this list, so maybe it's 19 with some of the pitchers in there, but they're not as far back as Oakland with 23. But when you look at all these players, like Vaughn, Benintendi, Baldwin, etc., Julks, just sub 230, it makes a lot of sense because then the best bullpen arm that you have going out there, even if John Cannon gives you a nice 5 innings or whatever, is Justin Anderson. We didn't even see him today.
Nope. And he, everyday Justin Anderson gives you everyday innings, and he's been actually pretty good. But the guy you picked up, and I'm gonna get a focus on this eventually, and ask Vinny. I don't know if the Assembled Media is gonna be asking Grady Sizemore and all the folks, but Miguel Vargas. I know it's only 18 games, and I know being on a team like this, historically bad, might have somebody's spirits down, but you're a professional. You're 24 years old. Now you have a first time to really show your wares at the major league level. Man's hitting under 100. He's batted 62 times in a White Sox uniform. He's got 6 hits. 6! And we saw
the next Corey Lee.
Yeah, and we saw today with the air, which the White Sox made 4 of them today. Like, he looked all right at third before this past weekend, and I don't know where he can stick. Everything that people told me on the trade deadline about Miguel Vargas, none of it was good. It was all, he was young, he was good in the minors, the Dodgers didn't have any space for him. None of it was, oh no, this guy is good, Herb, you're gonna love Miguel Vargas. It was, oh no, this guy is young and has a bunch of potential. I mean, how many times have we heard that? As I brought up to you when we're talking and watching the game, we have that player, even though that player was a different disappointment in Nomar Mazara. When the White Sox traded for him, the thing was, oh man, he hit 20 home runs the last 2-3 years. He's 24 years old. Instead of, this guy has good bat-to-ball skills. You'll love him in the field. He will improve your defense, etc., etc. It was just all, he's young, he's got potential. That's what I keep on getting back with the White Sox, and that's why I hated that trade at the deadline where people would tell me, no, they got a good deal. I'm like, no, they didn't. Not at all. When you're seeing everybody else around the league getting actual young talent that has potential and is performing right now. I mean, you don't have to look any further than Mayo down there in Miami. In his brief stint down there with the Marlins, he's doing well. Connor Norby. Not Mayo. It's Connor Norby, sorry.
Mayo's on the actual Baltimore team.
Connor Norby, my bad.
But yeah, I mean, you even see Michael Busch. Michael Busch gets pushed out of Los Angeles during the offseason, and I feel like they got a little bit more for Busch than they did for Vargas.
Yeah.
You ended up getting Jackson Ferris, who I think was a highly regarded pitching prospect, and there's more a part of that package. But Busch goes over to the Cubs, and that playing time that he's gotten there so far, I think the Cubs have been thrilled with his performance so far. So I think you would have seen something of interest. And I think there's been over 45 batted balls from Miguel Vargas. 8 of them have been hard hit. 1 of them have actually been a hit. So 8 of them have an exit velocity of 95 miles per hour plus. Only 1 of them has been a hit. It was a homer. So, hey, we'll take it. But there's just not a lot of great swings. And even in the last at-bat that he had, John Triffin mentions, the shadows are tough. And it is. It's not like a narrative that we haven't heard before at Guaranteed Rate Field. Those are some difficult-ish shadows, but it's 92-mile-per-hour fastballs, middle, that he's just swinging through.
From a lefty.
From a lefty, right. It's not even really shadows related. I think shadows would probably be, more difficult when a ball's breaking or when a ball's just going extremely fast. Like 92, I don't think it gets easier than that in modern Major League Baseball. A 92-mile-per-hour fastball, middle, like you have to hit those.
And what pressure's on him?
Nothing.
Yeah, there's games don't matter. This is the time where you stat pad. Like, okay, I'm on a team that sucks. I'm trying to leave each time I'm up here. Leave. And I don't give a goddamn. And I'll go in the offseason and do what I need to do because I know they traded for me, so I'm going to be here next year somewhere on the field. So right now is the time that I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be trying to leave all the time I'm up here.
And Sox Haps, I appreciate you guys commenting. Let us know your thoughts. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports channel as well. I did see Michael Leroy saying AAA teams could beat the White Sox. There was another team. It's not hyperbole to call them a AAA baseball team. It's not. It's fact. They are a AAA baseball team.
I wish they were.
They would probably be a 500 team in the Charlotte League or whatever. But Sox Haps saying Vargas for sure is our next Moncada. Yohan Moncada was a top 10 third baseman. He was a good player.
Yes.
Miguel Vargas hasn't done shit. Ever. If he ever turns himself into a Moncada, we would be thrilled.
That's a win.
A guy with tantalizing, potential. A guy that can represent his team in the World Baseball Classic. A guy that got $75 million. If Vargas is ever in the position to get $75 million, fantastic. There was a quote from Grady pregame. I'm not putting too much stock on just what he's done so far, Vargas. This is a great player. We're happy to have him here. He's been doing a great job at third. I think the offense will come. Obviously, the offense hasn't been there. You look at the defensive stats for him at third base, a 0 fielding run value according to StatCast. Not good, not bad. I'd like to see more of them. We'll see an entire month of them.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, I feel like most people's idea here, most people's, concerns is just, or not even concerns, just wake us up when September ends. I don't think we really want to watch Miguel Vargas play third base or see if he can struggle or get through in his next 60 at-bats. They've lost 100 games through 131. I don't think you want to watch the next 31 games.
History!
Thank you,
Not
sir.
at all. And yeah, to Sox Haps part quote and comment, I get the disappointment in Yohan Moncada. He has failed as a White Sox player. But as Sean said, Yohan Moncada, 19 and 21, I would take that guy over most third basemen in those 2 years. The man was hitting, he was healthy, he was fielding it, all those things. And if Vargas comes anywhere near 19 or 21, Yohan Moncada, that's a win for the White Sox in any of these years. But yeah, you can't put him in the same breath as Yohan Moncada, even though Moncada has been disappointing in his overall White Sox career. His thing mostly for me is he couldn't stay healthy. That is a bugaboo, and that is a thing on Yohan Moncada and will be on his resume. But as far as Vargas being the same player with potential, no, absolutely not.
Well, and then Moncada, too. You look at 2022, that's his worst year, 77 OPS plus. Vargas, for his career, a 70 OPS plus hitter. He would love to have Moncada's worst season.
Yes.
And William saying it used to be second base and right field where the problem spots still are. Now it's third base. How many guys played third base this year? I don't know. But again, like that spot looked fine during the first 11 games. Moncada was looking all right during the first 11 games. And then he crumbles going to first base. That wouldn't really be a problem spot unless, if Moncada was healthy. Sox app saying Vargas was the number 5 prospect in baseball right behind Elly De La Cruz. And we've also seen Colson Montgomery be a top 10 prospect, and now he's fallen down to like 28. Prospects are extremely hard to judge. Moncada proved it at the major league level and got an extension. Vargas has not done anything like that just yet. And Drake Foss mentioning that we got the mock infield put in the 78. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. Vinny's going to join us from Guaranteed Rate Field, and we're going to talk about things that I missed while I was out over the past week. Sarah, I will be sending you one more graphic now that Drake reminded us about the 78, so just a heads up. Let's take a break, though, and let you know about Ray CDJR. Shop summertime savings going on now at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and save on the perfect new vehicle for you. This August, score new, lower prices across their huge inventory during the Make This the Summer sales event. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 36 months on most of their new 2024 Jeep models, or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray CDGR help you during each step of your car shopping journey with Ray's Price Promise. The numbers you're hearing now are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees. Since they prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry in to Ray CDJR today and shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories, then drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, because they are the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com, serving the community since 1963.
When the weather gets this warm, like it is outside right now, just any beer won't do. You want something light, refreshing, and flavorful. Leinenkugel has a flavor for every summer moment. It's the perfect companion for everything in the great outdoors. The great American pastime, or a great night out with friends. Whether I go to the ballpark, I'm going to be grabbing myself one of these right here I have in my hand, a Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, because it has summer right in the name, and it's delicious. And if you want a beer, you want to change it up a little bit, you're like, hey, Herb, I'm already sold. You don't have to sell me on Leinenkugel Summer Shandy with natural lemon flavor. You could try the Lakeside Cherry. It has real cherry juice, or the Grapefruit Shandy with natural white grapefruit flavor, and Honey Lemon Light with 99 calories and a sweet finish, plus classic crowd-pleasing brews like Leinenkugel Light or Leinie's Original. Flavor every summer moment with Leinenkugels, the official craft beer of the Chicago White Sox. Go to Leinie.com/CHGO to find delivery options near you. That's LEINIE.com/CHGO. Or pick up Leinenkugels pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Leinenkugels, flavor of the moment. Celebrate responsibly. The Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls.
Yes. And William Mosley is saying, bottom line, what can we get excited for?
Hagen Smith. Noah Schultz.
That's it? That's what you got?
Yeah. How about no? I mean, since he's I know he's a little.
What do you?
I know he's a little long in the tooth. Tim Elko. He's doing well at AAA so far.
You're excited for
a 25-year-old first baseman, White Sox style.
So
another first baseman coming up here, hitting like 210 and not doing the home run thing that he did in the minors.
AJ Reed 2.0 is what you're excited for?
Boom.
Booyah. Let's go. Hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't checked out our Die Hard program, we'd love for you to, allchgo.com/diehard. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us as you are watching the show. Sox Tap is right. You're right, too. Schultz and Hagen Smith. Very exciting. The literally two best left-handed pitching prospects in Major League Baseball right now. You got George Wolko as well. Wolko is hitting the ball hard. Obviously, there's some swing and miss rates, but the issue too is he's 18 and he's at single A. Like, there's not much to really sink your teeth in and get excited about. Maybe Smith has a fairly meteoric rise and is somehow on the 2025 team. Same with Schultz, but I would assume that both of those guys are going to be minor leaguers next year.
Yeah.
This is going to be another horrendous team. And I'm excited about Wolko, but also what's
he got, like a 45% miss rate?
Yeah, he's also got like 84 homers. So I don't care too much. We saw Aaron Judge's strikeout rates. I mean, he's struck out like 200 times in like 4 different seasons.
Give me it.
Hey, as long as you're hitting homers, I don't care. If you're going to hit 60 homers, have an Adam Dunn year. I don't care. If he's Chris Dunn 2.0, that's cool. Chris Dunn hit 51 homers in a year. I just don't want them to all have minor league success. What is actually going to be exciting for 2025? Andrew Benintendi. All right, that's
God.
gonna.
Oh,
That's
God.
We're gonna wrap up the
Jesus
show.
Christ.
All right.
I mean, and that's, you say that in jest, but yeah, he will probably be the thing that we will talk about as the player, him or Vaughn, the player that's coming back from this year that is the best coming back for 2025. And that is sad. That's very sad because that man is terrible. He's hitting the ball better than he did before, and he's striking some of those balls. Got a double today, got an RBI double, I believe, or just a double and then got driven in by Vaughn. Fine. But I think his WAR is still either negative or just above the line. He's not good. And then today, there's a ball down the line, and I know the wind was kind of howling. The effort was kind of lackadaisical. Lets the ball drop right in front of him in fair territory, bounces into the netting. That guy scores from first base, and instead
that was the triple, wasn't it? Because he missed that ball, doesn't that guy end up going to third?
No,
wasn't
that was a different one. That was a different play.
That was the Fletcher play?
Yeah, he got the ball in relatively easy, and the guy only got a double, but it was an RBI double. I would at least put it on the mat. It was close enough for you to slide and put it with some extra effort instead of just, I'm not going to catch this. I'm just going to let it fall in.
There's just a true hesitancy that you could see in his eyes when he's trying to field something close to the line. And Detroit sports wants you to put some respect on the Tigers, that the lineup is filled with prospects, especially Colt Keith, who has been solid. This lineup is exciting and looks to keep feasting on the Sox.
Great.
They've lost 100 games in 131 games.
Congratulations to Colt Keith hitting the White Sox.
The St. Linus Hawks, a grammar school team, would look impressive against the Chicago White Sox.
Colt Keith.
Mercy.
I'm supposed to get excited about Colt Keith. I gave you your two. Your two, Riley Green, awesome. He's a young player that I could see a lot of potential into. And you're getting more than you expected from Kerry Carpenter.
Who's on steroids.
Maybe. Cool. Tell me what else you got. Javi? Come on now.
He lost his locker. I guess he's on the IL. I guess he got too teared up and too emotional from the Cubs thing. All right. Also, shout out to Michael D, who shared that stat about the White Sox losing their first game, 100 game, and possibly the 120th game of the season against the Detroit Tigers this year. Vinnie Duber is going to join us from Guaranteed Rate Field, and why not head out there? Our CHGO White Sox beat writer, Vinnie Duber, is over at Guaranteed Rate Field. He is healthy and back at work, and we are excited to talk about the Chicago White Sox with him. Vinnie, I know that you don't love the word history. I know that was beat into you. No, maybe not the right word, but it was worked into you by a Missouri professor that not a lot of things are historic. Is this historic? Is the 100th loss in 131 games historic enough for you and your Missouri professor?
If you throw baseball in front of it, sure. You got to have that qualifier in there. But come on, teams lose 100 games all the time. The problem is not many teams lose 100 games before the calendar turns to September. In fact, this is only the fourth time ever that it has happened. We're getting so familiar with the 1899 Cleveland Spiders up here in the press box that I can tell you the funniest name of the players on the 1899 Cleveland Spiders, and that is Harry Cauliflower.
Oh.
So
I thought you were going to say Johnny Dickshot.
I thought wasn't old Hoss Radborn on that team too? There's also Dick Harley, which is pretty funny.
A lot of names.
All right.
Do you know about
Cauliflower? Come on, guys.
Harry Cauliflower is.
Oof, I wouldn't want one of those. Did you see Johnny Dickshot? Do you know who that guy is? I think he's a longtime White Sox, or he finished his career with the White Sox. He's actually buried here in the city beautiful.
Oh,
Johnny Dickshot.
Waukegan.
Yeah,
there you go. And he's a Waukeganite. He's born.
He's I think they called him like the ugliest man ever.
Named Ugly Johnny Dickshot.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but Harry Cauliflower. Yeah. No, absolutely not. He's not even that bad looking. I just see him. He looks like a 1930s guy.
Yeah, looks stone-walled and stone-faced. Anyways,
do these people like Vinny? Like, I don't think 100. The actual number of 100. Matters to these players or Grady Sizemore, firstly, because Grady's only been managing for 14 games now. What do they have to react to of the actual 100 at the loss column?
I mean, they're kind of sick of hearing about it, to be honest. I mean, Andrew Benintendi, I think, called it beating a dead horse, because we keep finding new ways or new reasons, I should say, to ask them about the overarching thing. They're bad. That they've lost so many games. They're going to keep losing games, and we're going to keep asking these questions because 100 is another mile marker, and there'll be another mile marker after this, even if it's, not until 120. But guys, they're steaming right toward it. We've got 31 games left, and they are not winning at a clip good enough to avoid that single season loss record. So we're going to be asking more questions about them racking up a certain amount of losses. Now, when it comes to actually what they are saying, they're trying to just forget about it. They're trying to just block it out of their mind because they got to come here tomorrow, whether they got 100 losses or whether they have the inverse of their record, right? So that's the way they're thinking about it. They want to keep showing up, keep being professional, keep trying to set an example as this team moves into next season. But they keep losing, so we got to keep talking about it.
Yeah, you don't need to respond to this. Just what an inane response from Andrew Benintendi. That is your job. That is the story. What do you want to ask about? Your appearance at a Jewel where you were signing autographs for people this Saturday? Like, what else is important in White Sox world? Hey, Andrew, how was that double? Did it feel good? Yeah, felt great. It may be a 20-second media session, Andrew.
I'm not sure it was criticism more so than it might have just been a frustration over the fact that, hey, every time we come to talk to you, it's about how you guys lost again and you guys keep losing and you lose and now here's this number of losses, kind of thing. So he gets it. He did the interview. It's not like he declined or anything like that. So.
It's 35 games against the Royals, Tigers, and Twins, and they've won 3 of them. It should be baffling to them. It should be bad. If you were on the Red Sox, you'd be hearing about how in 35 games you won 3 against the Yankees, Blue Jays, and Orioles. Or Rays or whatever. I don't know. That's brutal. And I get it too. I mean, what else are you going to ask? What else are you going to respond with? It sucks. How do you feel like the Grady Sizemore era has gone? Obviously, the wins haven't been there, but they weren't there before. We saw the Grady T-shirts on Friday that led to 3 losses in a row at the homestand. How do you feel Grady has kind of acclimated to this role so far, and how has the vibes in the locker room been post-Pedro firing?
The vibes part, I think, is probably what they can point to as being a success. I think, guys feel good, and we've talked about this a bunch, and I think it's stayed the case that they're more energetic. They are happy with how the effort level is deep into games. I think Benintendi said that after the game today, that it doesn't feel like they get to the 7th inning and they know they're going to lose. They feel like they have a chance maybe later in games. Again, how realistic that is, I don't know with the talent on this team, but they feel that way at least. And I think Grady talked a lot about being very proud of the effort and the work and all that stuff. Fans can probably roll their eyes at it, but it does seem to be a little bit different of a vibe and an improved vibe from when Pedro was here to what Grady has done the last couple weeks. But he's got 3 wins, and I don't know if that's going to be enough to, keep him riding high here. I think probably for fans, the honeymoon period is probably going to be over relatively soon if it isn't already. And I don't know how much drum beating there will be to have him stay in the manager's role past the end of this season. And again, when he took over, I think that was kind of the expectation, is that this was going to be a brief assignment and that they would move on to a managerial search. And, there was that little bit of a crest there after with the kind of games they were playing that really had people thinking, oh, can he be the guy? Can he be the guy? And I think as they continue to lose and look more and more like they did before the switch, maybe they're seeing why that was kind of the expectation when it started.
The thing is, it's not Grady's fault that the team had 4 errors today, because they're bad, horrifically bad defensive team this year. Out above average. I think they're minus 30 last year, where they were a bad team, and it was a focus of Chris Getz to get better defensively. I think they were minus 17 about outs above average last year, so almost double what they were last year. How does Chris Getz and Grady Sizemore reconcile how bad they've been, and do they recognize that maybe it's not the personnel we bring in, it's some of what we're teaching here, either in the lower levels and or major leagues.
Well, I mean, Grady's been pretty happy with the defense, at least in general. Obviously, today was a game in which they did not play very well defensively at all. But thinking about, I mean, I asked him about a couple of the errors after the game, and he didn't think the Fletcher one was all that egregious in center field, even though he bobbled it out there. He didn't even realize that they charged Corey Jolks with an error there in right field at the end of the game. So, I mean, obviously that throw by Miguel Vargas was awful. I didn't ask him specifically about that one, but he didn't seem too concerned with those two plays in the outfield. So, in his opinion, things are better than they were, or at least he felt good enough about them to compliment them before the game started, at least in the aggregate. But listen, it's another trend we've been talking about all year, right? A team that was supposedly improved defensively at the expense of other areas, and it hasn't looked like that at all. Obviously, Dom Fletcher's had some good defensive moments. He's got some good defensive numbers, but, a play like that will stick in people's minds, I'm sure. But yeah, it's been a big problem for this team. They're the worst defensive team in baseball after Chris spent most of last winter talking about how that was the number one area he wanted to address.
Yeah, and the Fletcher thing, we're going to take a break now, but it's very clear to see, and I think you guys talked about this while I was out, Dom Fletcher looks great in right field. That's probably because he's got Luis Robert Jr. in center field next to him, making it a lot easier to play right field. Because whenever he's in center field, he does his best, but those 5-6 legs just cannot cover enough ground quickly enough. He's got the heart, but
that route he took was atrocious. Ooh. Like I get what he's doing. He thought, I can get this ball. No, absolutely not. And like you said, a seasoned center fielder knows whether he can or cannot catch that ball and then adjust to where the ball is going. And then he let the bad route lead to his error where he just bobbled the ball. Right.
And, if it's going to get by you, take the carom and then throw it in. Turns into a triple. Oh, well. Let's take a break. We'll let you know about our friends over at Family Farms and more. Family Farms, their culinary journey is woven with passion, dedication, and a commitment to crafting the finest bacon-wrapped chicken, a timeless delicacy that has tantalized taste buds since 1974. Join them on this flavorful adventure where every bite tells a story of tradition, quality, and the enduring spirit of Family Farms. The tradition continues. Now you can find Family Farms bacon-wrapped chicken even easier. Look for us in the meat department at your local Woodman's, Mariano's, or Burcott's. If you're craving a taste of home without leaving yours, check out baconwrappedchicken.com or click the link for our Amazon store, which also includes the legendary Rocky Rococo's Italian sausage, and find out when our new amazing Cajun Nation flavors will become available with an authentic Louisiana bite. Experience the flavor that's become a family flavor for generations. Visit your nearest Woodman's, Mariano's, Burcott's, or on Amazon, baconwrappedchicken.com. Thank you to our friends over at Family Farms.
Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options for you to choose from, and you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your team's favorite colors, like I have right now, the black Robin Venturas. So just called Venturas, not Robin Venturas. I just put that on there. Sorry, Shady Rays. I wear Shady Rays while I'm riding a bike because the optical clarity, which is vital while I'm riding these bikes down the Chicago streets, because you don't want to be out here dark. Look at Sean and his colorful, nice style of Shady Rays.
I'm trying to think of somebody with Oak in their name that was a White Sox player. Randall Oakmont. Those are my shades. Ventura was really easy for you.
It was.
Your favorite player.
Plus, that's why I got the glasses.
Yeah.
Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, like I think you had, Sean, you didn't sweat it. No. They have the most insane protection of all eyewear. Every pair is backed by their lost and broken replacements. If you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair, worry-free, within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop. Their shades and their team has your back your team has your back with personal and fast support. Exclusively now for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving you their best deal of the season. Head on over to shadyrays.com and use the promo code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by 300,000 people
All right, we got stuff that I missed from the past week that we'll get to, but we got some more questions with Vinny. The Gen Dog is asking, though, do you have any confidence that there's a plan to successfully rebuild? And to answer that, I'll go to a different commenter who says, Soxhap, this is what baseball hell looks like. So do I have any faith? No. Is there any confidence? No. They're a really horrible team that's likely going to lose 100 again.
Yeah, next year.
3 straight years that they're probably going to lose 100.
Yeah.
There's no confidence that this is going to be better next
year. And when people usually say baseball hell, I'm usually like, or football, whatever, sport hell, I'm like, well, at least they get compensation for their bad year. Yep. And we already know the White Sox will be picking 10th next year for this bad season. This past season, they picked 5th in a year that they had lost 100 games. So, yeah, I would love for the White Sox to have some type of silver lining of this bad season, but there isn't any. I don't see one. Like, they have players that might hit, but also we've seen players that we thought would hit, better players that we were talking about, Yoel Moncada, Michael Kopech, etc. Those are better prospects than the ones the White Sox have currently, and they didn't necessarily hit for the White Sox. So, yeah, optimism is at an all-time low, I would think, if you're a White Sox fan right now.
Wake me up when September ends does work for this Chicago White Sox team because the season ends on the 29th. But honestly, I think, wake me up when July ends. Like, I don't even need to see the trade deadline. I don't need to see the draft. This is all just going to be painful. Give me to August 2025.
Hey, man, they're going to have
DNC back.
They're going to have a new manager. So theoretically, that new manager will have a better record than 7-21. 3-22.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. You just wake up and have a better record than what Pedro had his first 2 years. And I'm not saying it's 100% on Pedro, but also that's what he had in his first 2 months as a manager, or first 2 March/Aprils as a manager.
PB64 saying if they win 60 games next year, it'll feel like the playoffs. And that's what Pedro got in his first year. I'll take 61 wins.
Think about when we took over on CHGO White Sox, 2022. 81 wins. And I was like, man, this is the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. Last year, 61. This year, we might not get to 41. So 20 fewer wins each year. 21 next year.
I forget who said it. I mean, they are still able to lose or win less than they did in 2020. They had 36 wins in 2020. They currently sit at 31. I think it'll be very, very, very difficult for them to go 5 and 24 or whatever. No, 5 and 26.
Yeah, 5 and 26.
31 games left. 5 and 26. It would probably be difficult, but not impossible. Yeah. So, anyways, Vinny, let's get you involved in this conversation. We were talking about Miguel Vargas a little bit earlier. I know that there was some pregame comments from Gary Sizemore on Vargas, but you talked about the vibes. It seems like the vibes, even though it might be better for, let's say, Michael Kopech, who was there from 2022 to 2023 to 2024, or if you want to include Vaughn, the vibes probably improved since 2022. But for a guy in Vargas who has gone from one of the better teams in Major League Baseball to the worst team in Major League Baseball, does it feel like he has been affected by his change of scenery in a negative way? Because we do see, and it probably is because he only has 6 hits so far in his White Sox career, we do see after most of these plays, whether it's the bad throw or striking out, just a disdain look from him. Do you think that the struggles are really building and piling on for him because even the team can't have success right now?
I mean, I think he's just upset that he's not getting the results that he wants, and I'm not sure that has anything to do with the jersey that he's wearing. But, certainly you'd rather be playing for a winner, excuse me, than a team that just lost 100 games. But I'm going to go ahead and guess that his frustrations stem from what he's unable to do himself on the field. And you're seeing it on both sides of the ball with the throw that he had today, in addition to all the lack of offensive success. So I think the good news is that they're giving him the opportunity, right? I mean, this is the thing, Herb, that we've been talking about all year with these young guys is this is a chance to figure out what you got. And whether that's good or bad, the opportunity is there. This is a guy who wasn't given that everyday opportunity with the Dodgers, and he's got it now with the White Sox. It obviously isn't going well, but all you got to do is look to, plenty of players in the past who have had struggles when given that first taste of everyday reps, and then turn that into a learning moment further down the road in their career.
Yeah, and Sarah, I don't know if you have that highlight I have of Andrew Vaughn. This is not necessarily a question. It's just I wanted to point this out. It seems like a persistent thing. 3-0 count. It's the White Sox are in the 6th inning. You just walked Andrew Benintendi. It's a left-hander in Salmons that he hit a home run against in the 3rd inning. You get a 3-0 count, middle. If you're watching here on YouTube or on Roku, you can see number 4 right in the middle of the plate. 89 miles per hour fastball down pipe. Just takes it. Eventually, he does work a walk, but the situation called for Andrew Vaughn to hit a 2-run homer because at the time, they're only down 2 runs at that time. And this is the things that I would like the White Sox to move forward toward or move towards, where Andrew Vaughn, his only, I think you introduced us to swing take and swing and take points on Baseball Savant.
Yes.
And his only place that he has a good positive swing and points is in the heart of the zone. Everywhere else for his actual swing is a negative thing. He has to take advantage, and all these White Sox players have to take advantage of this is a 3-0 count. This is a advantageous thing for myself and my team. I don't know if it was put on because I wouldn't think that Grady Sizemore 14 days into his career would be like, hey, yeah, 3-0 count, down 2 runs, late in the game, take that pitch. So I'm just thinking the mentality of these players. Andrew Vaughn now has to turn it on and say, hey, I am the power source of this team. Me, Gavin Sheets, sometimes Andrew Benintendi, and Luis Robert. So when there's an opportunity for me to leave, I got to take advantage of it, and he did not take advantage of it. He walked eventually, and then the White Sox got 3 straight outs with 2 runners on via the walk. Usually the White Sox with runners in scoring position get. So these are the things the White Sox need to change the mentality of their players and or coaches to think that we're in good counts. Let's take advantage of it because we're not going to score. We're working on the margins, and if we're just going to be letting people walk us to get to lesser hitters, that's not going to work for us.
I had the same reaction. I don't know if it was just, Salmons threw a walk on 5 pitches to Benintendi on the first at-bat. You basically have his first 8 pitches, 7 of them are balls.
Yes. Like
you want to make him throw a strike. But I'm with you. I mean, you're not going to get a better opportunity or a better hitter, at least for this team, up at the plate unless Robert's in the lineup. We'll probably go to that, and then we'll get to some pitcher stuff and then some Moncada stuff. Just a normal day off for Robert, and also what has been the talk? Because I've been out for about a week. What has been the talk about Luis Robert? Because it still seems like he is struggling and in the weeds a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he had that nice game last weekend down in Houston, but, other than that, mostly struggles for him. But today is just a regular day off. The whole day game after a night game thing is still real. And I think in a season like this where they're not really playing for much of anything at this point, I think Grady sees a chance to kind of get some guys some rest. And he was talking about doing that, not just with Luis, but guys across the board.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and also for a positive, in the 5th inning, the White Sox did turn a double play that I haven't seen them turn in a while because usually with a ball dribbled back to the pitcher, they'll just concede the run and throw it to first base and get the one out. But Frazier Eller is on it. Threw it home. Chucky Robinson did the smart play, and I hate when White Sox are into a pickle situation because they usually throw that ball way too early. Chucky Robinson ran him all the way back to 3rd, got the tag from Miguel Vargas. Miguel Vargas saw that the guy on 2nd was a little too aggressive coming down line and got him out for a double play, an unconventional 1-2-5 double play. So that's another positive the White Sox can build on. I hope we're seeing more of those. We're seeing way too many drips and drabs of those, but it's good to see that things of the past, you could see positivity through that. And Frazier Eller, I think, in his brief time has been fine. He's a lefty reliever, got his first win the other day. So I'm looking forward to those little drips and drabs because I got to cling on to anything because there's not a lot.
Well, and two, along with that on defensive plays, shout out to Lenin Sosa. He had one hell of a top of the 3rd inning. Meadows grounded to Vaughn, deflected off Vaughn into right field-ish, shallow right field where Sosa picks up that carom, Cannon goes over, covers first, and they barely get him in a bang-bang play. And then the next play, Riley Green hits like kind of a loop-bloop into shallow right, and there's Lenine Sosa diving out at second base. So, I mean, you talked earlier, Vinny, about Grady liking the defense. Those were 3 plays right there where the defense was all right. We saw Jonathan Cannon be a little shaky today, but again, he's a rookie starting for a team that's lost 100 games at 103 chances, or 131 chances. So I'm not too perplexed or miffed about his start. You know, he just got to get the routine under his belt and just go out and throw as much as he can. But along those, or in that same category, there is Drew Thorpe and Jordan Leisure. What are the updates on those two as they recover from injury?
Not much of an update, really. I think Chris Getz said the other day that they don't really want to rush these guys back. And so, you know, I think they are going to play it really slow, and maybe we'll see them before the end of the year, but there was no guarantee of that either. So I'm not seeing those guys coming too quick, though I believe Michael Soroka is heading out on a rehab assignment starting next week.
And going to our starting pitcher today, another struggling outing for Jonathan Cannon. Is there any talk about his last couple starts have been not of what we saw the starts before that? Any talks about him just hitting a wall, because this is probably the most innings that he's pitched in his professional career or college career?
I don't know if it's about that. I think it's more of a consistency thing, right, for him at this point. He was just talking today about how the location wasn't there. And so, you know, I think you can just chalk this up as a bad day. I'm not really sure that it speaks to the fatigue or anything like that, because he's a guy who has shown that he can go deep in games. So probably see more from him the rest of the year, and I would imagine he will finish the year in the rotation.
All right, then Joseph Gotti is throwing out Michael Soroka. I know there's an update on both Soroka and Moncada. We talked about Moncada a little bit earlier. William Mosley, our guy in the chat, was talking about how many players have played third base for the White Sox this year. Obviously, that wasn't the plan, as Moncada went down in the 11th game of the year with an injury. Do you expect to see Moncada or Soroka back in a White Sox uniform in 2024?
Yeah, they're both starting a rehab assignment on Tuesday in Charlotte. So obviously we'll see how that goes, but I would expect Moncada to come back for one last little curtain call, I guess, in his White Sox career, probably here at some point in September, unless they, you know, the same thing happens and he goes back out there and he doesn't feel comfortable. That, I guess, is a possibility, but they've reached the point where they want to put him in AAA games at this point.
I know they can't just like, hey, and there's really no reason for you to play type of thing. I don't understand the reason for him coming back unless he just wants to get at bats in. Is there like anything that they said, like, yeah, we're just getting him back so we can play his last games as a White Sox? Otherwise, to me, it's puzzling that in the last month of the season of a 100-plus loss season, and they're going to be DFA, or they'll be declining his option after this year, why he's playing, why Michael Soroka's even attempting to play again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good question from a team standpoint. I guess the idea is if he's healthy, right? I mean, you can't give someone a phantom injury by rule, right? From Yoán Moncada's standpoint, you have great incentive to get back on the field, I'd imagine, to show the other 29 teams that you can still play as you look for a job for next year. But, you know, maybe he comes back and they don't play him every day because they do still want to give playing time to Vargas over at third base. But, I mean, he's on the team, and if he's healthy enough to play, you have to play him kind of thing, or you have to at least put him on the roster. It wouldn't – I don't understand why you would DFA a guy or cut him with 2 weeks left in the season. But, I mean, I get what you're saying. There is no benefit past the end of this year to playing him regularly. I understand that question.
Hey, Chris Getz said it in the offseason. Put him in right field. You know, put him at first base. Let's see him just all around the diamond. Let Miguel Vargas play third base. I want to see Moncada back at second.
And the White Sox got to do some cutthroat things. I mean, it's not necessarily cutthroat to DFA or release Yoán Moncada. They're going to be paying him anyways. Why play games with him? Why play games with them, literally or figuratively? I know that Yoán wants to get himself back and get some film out there, but people pretty much got to establish what Yoán is. And he'll probably have to do, I don't know if he's going to get a minor league contract. I know at minimum he'll get a minor league contract, but more than likely he'll get a major league contract that is somewhere low because Tim got one, and he was having a hella bad year last year.
Yeah, Moncada should get a look. Absolutely. I think he'll get a major league look, especially if he's able to come back for 2024. But, Vinny, that seems to be about it for you during the CHGO White Sox postgame. Why don't you get a head start on traffic and racing home, and I could talk about Michael Kopech's slider and cuttage usage in Los Angeles.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Thank you, buddy. We will talk to Vinnie Duber tomorrow as he will be joining us again from Guaranteed Rate Field, and we'll talk more about the Chicago White Sox and Detroit Tigers as they wrap up a 4-game series tomorrow. We'll have a post-game show with you. We are live on Roku as well, so we appreciate anyone hanging out with us on Roku TV. We know we have 83 viewers right now on YouTube. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet, and make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. Got a lot on the docket in the next 10 minutes to get through. We'll try to get through it quick. First off, what are the Chicago White Sox doing? I know we could ask that about the way that they play on the field from their front office acquisitions and moving around as well. There's a lot of questions that we can ask about the Chicago White Sox. But this was from Thursday and from CBS News. One of the women struck by gunfire during a White Sox game at Guaranteed Rate Field last summer filed a lawsuit against the Chicago White Sox on Thursday. And the woman is seeking $50,000 for personal injuries, pecuniary losses, and other damages, including past, present, and future losses from the shooting, according to the firm that is defending her. That is John J. Malm and Associates. There is also At Your Service, LLC, the, I believe, security firm that runs Guaranteed Rate Field, and the Illinois Sports Facility Authority that was mentioned in the lawsuit. The White Sox have not responded to the request on the lawsuit, but my thought is, how do you, as a billion-dollar organization, let this get out? This woman's looking for $50K for a shooting at your ballpark that has been unanswered. We have no idea what the actual cause of that bullet was. Jerry Reinsdorf came out and said, it probably came from outside the stadium. We have not seen a police report on this shooting and what happened. Why are the White Sox letting this go even to a lawsuit? This woman wants $50K. You're going to give Yohan Moncada like $13 million to not play for you in September. Give this woman $50K and don't even let this get out of there. Just let this die. The Chicago police don't want to talk about this. You don't want to talk about this. Why is this getting out there? Just give her $50K. Am I stupid?
You're
Do I not know any lawyering? I know I'm not a lawyer, but like, I'm not an esquire here. I can't approach the bench, Your Honor, but Jesus Christ, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm sure any lawyer worth their salt would have saw what the request was of $50K and said, that money, sign this non-disclosure. You get $50,000. You can't talk to it about it with anybody for a certain amount of time. Enjoy your $50,000. So this never hits the papers. Because, this lady has a gripe. She was injured at your ballpark. She was shot. And so...
Shot! Someone shot her with a gun!
Yeah.
At a ballpark!
And they still don't have the answers either. If I was the woman, and this is besides, the woman who got rumored to stuff it underneath her rules, and it's been no substantiation of that, I would also be looking to be suing some people who have put that out there on national airwaves that was the truth. So, I don't understand how Jerry Reinsdorf, a lawyer, let this get this far already.
Just give her $50K. And it doesn't get out into the thing. You could have her sign a what's it called? Non-disclosure. And just, bye-bye. There you go. There's your $50K. You can't even buy a house for that.
$50,000 is
down payment, maybe.
Drop in the bucket for Jerry Reinsdorf.
That is probably because, I don't know, she got shot and had to go take care of her shot wounds. John Malm, the attorney, said the defendants had a duty to protect attendees from foreseeable dangers, including firearms. Our client, an innocent attendee, suffered serious injuries as a result of the failure to take property security measures. We believe the law firm denied rumors that the woman smuggled a gun into the stadium and accidentally shot herself. That statement was not confirmed by the Chicago Police Department. It's still unclear if the shots came from either inside or outside the park. And that's why you don't let this get out. You just give her $50K and you sign the NDA. Bye-bye. See you later, Jane Doe. Anyways, next up on things that I missed and didn't get to rant and rave about, do we have the Aaron Judge picture? This is from JJ Cooper at JJ Coop 36 of Baseball America. Aaron Judge has been having an insane year.
He's
he
decent.
not only hit his 50th home run, Herb,
Yep.
he hit his 51st this year. And what's crazy about this, we talked about the awful batting averages that we've seen so far from the White Sox. A lot of guys barely even being at the Mendoza line, barely above the Mendoza line. And here's Aaron Judge hitting like 332. And what's insane about this is the types of four-seam fastballs that he's been seeing. We all know that velocity is up around Major League Baseball. But since 2021 to 2024, Aaron Judge has faced nearly 30% fastballs at 95 to 96 mile per hour. Miguel Cabrera from 2009 to 2012, per this graph, saw 30% fastballs that were 90 miles per hour or less. If you look at his the 90 everything below 94 miles per hour for Cabrera, it's 25, 22, and like 28. That is pretty much the reverse of what Judge is seeing. Judge is seeing 28, 18, and even 5% of 95 plus.
Yep.
So the types of fastballs that Miguel Cabrera we're seeing are completely different than what Judge is seeing. And the fact that he's able to have this type of success in this pitching environment is absurd. And the fact that the White Sox are batting this poorly isn't surprising because baseball is just a massively different sport than it was when I was a child.
Yeah.
You look back at 2009, you had pitchers that were throwing complete games just because you wanted to protect the bullpen.
Yep.
Bullpens weren't even that good, and they were throwing 89 miles per hour as well. It is fascinating what Major League Baseball has turned into, and the fact that Aaron Judge has really not had to adjust at all, and it's just dominating is absurd.
Yeah, and like you said, there are so many different pitchers that you have to study, know, and understand what they're bringing to the table. And he's like, I don't give a goddamn. I know these guys. Throw me a fastball. I'm going to hit it really far and really hard. And the fact that he's doing it 51 before the month of September even starts is absurd. He might break his own goddamn American League record of 62 home runs in a season. Yeah, he might break that easily. No more White Sox games. He only hit one versus the White Sox, and that was his 300th of his career, which made him the fastest player ever to 300 home runs in his career. And he's just ascending at he's past his prime in theoretical terms. What, he's 31 now?
Yeah, 32.
Yeah. 32. So he's past his prime, but that man is ascending still. And he still plays his home games in Mickey Mouse Ballpark. So he'll be hitting a lot more home runs. And there's very few that are wall scrapers that Aaron Judge hits. And it's just ridiculous the amount of power that one team. I would like to have one of those three guys they got in the middle of their order with Soto, Judge, or Stanton. I'll take Stanton. He's natural White Sox. He's hurt all the damn time. Take him.
I take Stanton if he hit lefty.
Oh, my Jesus.
I don't even need him to hit righty.
He would be the best White Sox hitter.
Amen.
But yeah, it's just a marvel to see him doing his thing. Shohei Ohtani hitting 40-40. You got Bobby Witt Jr. doing great things. And then I hate it because it's going against my Padres, but it looks like I know that Shohei Ohtani's the thing. But when we're talking about the National League most valuable player,
Herb, what are you talking about?
Francisco Lindor, man. Francisco Lindor. National League most valuable player.
For what?
This year.
Shohei Ohtani's going to hit 50 homers and steal 50 bags.
Doesn't play defense. Doesn't play defense.
All right, we're getting close to an hour. I got a little bit more that I will try not to scream at Herb about. Yeah, he doesn't play his. How many home runs does? Whatever.
It's like 28.
We got to take a break. We got to thank our fantastic diehards that have been supporting us through and through. We appreciate everyone that's hanging out with us in the chat. We appreciate everyone that is in our Discord, our diehard lounge. If you haven't signed up to be a diehard today, head over to allchgo.com/diehard. You could join our Discord and chat with White Sox fans alike, Bulls fans, Cubs fans, Bears fans, Bulls fans, etc. We have a ton of different channels that you can chat with in that Discord. You also get a shirt of your choice when you sign up. There are exclusive articles. You have Vinny's White Sox weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday, and you get discounts. You get 20% off merch, and you get 20% off events. Herb and Sarah were just out at the Cog Hill golf event that we had on the 23rd. It was a ton of fun. We've had 2 golf outing events. We've had 3 White Sox events. We've had the 120 clubs over at Wrigley. We have tailgates coming up for the Bears season. The Bears crew is going to London. I think there's still some spots left for that if you want to join them. And even when the Fire are taking over Soldier Field, when Messi and the Miami team come on the 31st, they'll be doing a takeover of that. Yeah. So we have a ton of different options.
And after that game, there's a Jason Derulo concert.
Oh, look at that.
Jason effing Derulo.
Jason Derulo. Yeah, there you go. And the Giggities is saying that you're off your rocker. Mets are 2.5 back of the wild card. And the Dodgers, he's got 50 homers and 50 stolen bases.
I didn't say team success. I said the player is having a fantastic year.
Oh, boy. But anyways, if you're not a diehard yet, we'd love and appreciate if you head over to allchgo.com/join-diehard. Appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. Also, Aaron Judge, before his 2 homers today, had an OPS plus of 227. So it's going to be like 230.
That's one of the best in the history of the game.
2022, when he hit 62 homers, led the American League in on-base percentage and slugging. He had a 210 on OPS plus.
Paltry.
Nearly 20 points higher. All right.
I don't know if you have the leaders, and it's probably like Babe Ruth and then like Barry Bonds 7 times. If you take out Barry Bonds with those ridiculous years, I'm sure this is one of the best offensive seasons that we've seen in the recent past.
Absolutely. All right. We got 2 more things, I think. Oh, no, we got 3 more things. Okay. Let's see. I missed Davis Martin's stat start in San Francisco. I want to talk a little bit about it. If you want to show the stat page, Sarah, for Davis Martin, I'm excited about Martin. I think that, and I know this is a little sacrilege, I think there's a little Shane Bieber in him. With this new changeup, the kick change that he's learned, his reliance on that slider, and you see the slider and cutter, the changeup and four seam all having usages above 15%. It seems like this guy just absolutely trusts his arsenal. I would like for that pitch break, if you can see that, if you're listening, my bad. I'll try to explain it though. On this graph right here, you could see the pitch break plot on the right side. You'd want those circles to be a little bit more tighter. That means he'll have a little bit more consistent of a shape that he is throwing in his pitches. So there obviously is some room to grow for Davis Martin. But when you have a slider that has a stuff plus of 108, I think his four seam's a little bit better than what it was shown in San Francisco. I don't know if the Bay Area, what's that called? Isn't there like a film? Isn't there San Diego? Like there's a whole like, it's like the sea level.
Oh, the marine layer.
The marine layer. Like, I don't know if it's affected by marine layer, but usually his four-seam fastball isn't around 93.2. So I think his stuff plus is better than what he's shown today. But this kick change is a real thing for Davis Martin. His first 3 batters, he struck out the first 3. He looks
filthy.
Insane. Love his delivery. Love his arsenal. And if you want to show the Hayden Burnsong kick change grip, I tried to show this on a 12-inch softball, and it didn't work. Works better on a Major League Baseball.
The Giants guy.
The Giants guy with the pitch grip. This is what Davis Martin throws. I tried to show it on a big softball. Doesn't really work. A little bit of a circle grip change, and this is from @EnoSaris on Twitter, so thank you, Eno. But this is the same exact pitch grip that Davis Martin throws. This is Hayden Birdsong of the Giants. Brian Bannister, who's worked with Tread. Birdsong's worked with Tread. Bannister and Martin worked on this. Took the same exact grip, and basically you're putting pressure on your thumb and your ring finger, and you're really just taking off that pointer finger, and it's mostly just used for control. So you're just using those 2 fingers, just pressing on them to throw that kick change, and it's been phenomenal. So
put that back up, sir. So it's the index finger and is like in a circle by itself. The thumb looks like it's below the seams and putting the pressure on it. The middle finger is on the seams. And then the ring finger, again, you said it's putting pressure on the other seam.
So yeah, the middle finger
still
is
throwing,
off.
And you're still throwing. You're still throwing as hard as you can with the same type of arm motion as your four-seam fastball.
Exactly. So I mean, I guess that's the best way to do it. You're taking your middle finger off. I'm not flipping off people, but you're pushing your thumb here on this side of the baseball. I guess I can turn my. You're pushing your thumb there, and it's kind of creating a pressure where you're putting pressure here. And here, here and here on the baseball, and it's going to come off your ring finger like that. And
that's the last thing he touches the ring finger and just tails away. Because, the second batter he faced, he threw, I think it was a left-hander, he threw that changeup, and I was like, filthy, off the table.
Nasty.
That guy had no chance, and then I think he struck out the other 2 guys with filthy sliders, too, below the zone. So, yeah, I agree with you. Davis Martin, I don't know if I'll go far as you with Klubat.
No,
or not
Bieber.
Bieber, Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
But hell, in that vicinity, I'm in.
Hey, if he's anything like it, even if he's the fourth pitcher, but he just looks a little like Shane Bieber. Even if it's just a resemblance.
I think you tweeted out the actual deliveries of the two guys, and they do look similar.
Bieber's a little bit more upright. Bieber has
taller,
more of a wind up. Yeah, no, they're about the same height. Martin's got a little bit of a bend, so maybe that's why he looks a little bit shorter. But Bieber's a little bit more fold out. All right, final thing, and I probably shouldn't wait until 105 on this. And I do want to give a shout out to Dane Perry of CBS. He wrote a piece on Jerry Reinsdorf that was very vindicating. A lot of great quotes in there that I could share later. But we're just going to stick to this. Michael Kopech got a lot of stuff. Go check out Lance Brosdowski. He put out a video about how Kopech has been much better in Los Angeles. But the whole thing is like the gear himself wasn't broken.
Yeah.
The entire machine is broken. The White Sox are broken. You look at Kopech's stuff plus with the Chicago White Sox, 144. His location plus, 100.
Baby.
With the Dodgers, stuff plus 139, location plus 98. You could argue that his stuff is better with the Chicago White Sox. But the biggest thing, and Sarah, you could flash those, and you want to flash the White Sox one first. You could see this is kind of similar to what I was talking about with the pitch breaks for Davis Martin. But this circle is his cutters and sliders, and this is from Lance Brosdowski's video. His cutter and slider, it's an inconsistent shape. And if you want to go to the second one, Sarah, it's a tighter circle. It is a more consistent shape. It is consistently getting more vertical break, some negative vertical break, and those have a little bit more sharper of a bite. So his breaking stuff has been a little bit more consistent. But we knew, even when he was leaving the White Sox, that they wanted him to throw more breaking stuff, that he could get comfortable with it. So I don't really know how much the Dodgers have fixed Michael Kopech. And you might say, well, it's a change of scenery, but here's Kopech from the Los Angeles Times on the White Sox clubhouse. It's kind of hard to describe because everyone would assume that it would have been a miserable clubhouse in Chicago, and that wasn't necessarily true. The team actually meshed pretty well, and we got along. We were just, fighting through some dark times together. Losing is its own feeling together. You should show up every day and hopefully scrap one out, but to continue to lose, it's tough. Here, it seems like everybody meshes together really well and then continue that energy after a game when riding a high from a win. It's, to be cliche, all good vibes here. So it's pretty cool. I think it's just a guy that knows, hey, I have to go throw 17 pitches and I just got to be the best because I know that we're trying to celebrate a win. You don't really have these other thoughts that probably when you're going in a 9-4 game, we even see it with Jason Foley. The guy can't even throw strikes for the Tigers, even though he's got a 5-run lead going up against the worst team in baseball, mainly just because he's probably not as locked in as he usually is. Right. Kopech has been locked in. Sarah, I know I have a lot of graphics for Kopech, so just start flashing some of them if you want to be honest. This is probably the biggest thing that I've noticed from Kopech. This is count breakdowns since he's gone to the Dodgers. You can see, obviously, he starts in a lot of 0-0 counts. Who doesn't? And he's gotten to 0-1 counts 17 times. But 1-0 counts 19 times. So he's been in more 1-0 counts than he has 0-1 counts. But here's the biggest thing. When he's at 1-0, he has gone 2-0 3 times.
Damn.
He has gone 1-1 27 times. And obviously that includes the times that he was 0-1. But he really just hasn't gotten behind hitters. 3-0 has never been down 3-0. Has been only in a 3-1 count one time and has gotten to a full count 11 times. And really, when you just get to 3-2, it's just, all right, hit my fastball. And no one has been able to hit his fastball yet. He's up a mile per hour on his fastball, but we saw that he was kind of a little inconsistent with his velocity. And, he could have a week where he's throwing 102 consistently. There's another week where he's, sitting around 99. But overall, nothing's really changed with Michael Kopech. The White Sox weren't doing anything with Michael Kopech. He just wasn't performing.
But I also think that it could be, he, said the clubhouse is all right and good, but there might be a different mentality. He didn't listen to the White Sox until there was 5 or 6 games left in his White Sox career. When White Sox you should mix in some of your off-speed stuff. And when he did, literally the time he did is where he pitched his immaculate inning. And then out from his White Sox career, he pretty much was lights out his last 5 or 6 outings to the White Sox. He was lights out up until yesterday with the Dodgers. He only gave up a run yesterday. But I think just the respect factor of who's telling you this. Ethan Katz might have a little cachet in the White Sox clubhouse, but Michael Kopech has seen him since 2019 as his pitching coach. So it might go on in one ear and out the other ear. But when it's Mark Pryor or whoever is with the Dodgers is saying, hey, man, do this, that, the other, and Michael Kopech can say, look at this winning-ass organization. Look at all these people around here doing the things. And, yeah, I'll listen to what they're saying, and I'll buy into what the Dodgers are saying more than I'll buy into what the White Sox are saying, if that makes sense. Like, maybe the actual stuff hasn't changed, but the mindset has changed because, as you said, these games mean more, and he's on a better team. And I think also he's just probably listening to the Dodgers and the tutelage that he's getting from the Dodgers a little bit more than what he's getting from the White Sox.
I would just push back on that because I don't really know what tutelage he's like. The grips are the same, the delivery's the same. He's throwing the same pitches. He's throwing them pretty much the same amount. I mean, he's still nearly 80% fastball with the Dodgers.
Hitting 105 or 103.
He was hitting 103. I mean, he just wasn't hitting 103 all the time. But like, I don't really know if that's like a. I just think it's easier to play for the Dodgers than it is the White Sox. I don't really think it's something where this is Cats or he's not listening to Cats because his slider wasn't this good. His cutter wasn't this good before this year. He improved his slider. I think part of that is the velocity as well, just going to the bullpen. But I don't know. Final thing, shout out to Mike Lorber of NBC Sky 5. There was a shot of the baseball diamond at the 78. And it seems like it has a similar layout or similar direction as Wrigley Field, as some of our diehards were pointing out, that it might face a similar way as Wrigley Field. So it would likely include the skyline, having the river behind home plate. It's odd to see a baseball field there. We haven't heard much about it, but here's a baseball field now to get a mock-up. Any thoughts? Does this make you feel like it's more real?
No.
Okay.
It just gives you what could be. I don't know that it's a no-go with Chicago, with the mayor and with the governor, if the White Sox are not going to be putting in a significant amount of money themselves for that project to get underway. And I'm sure through the proposals you've seen, Jerry Reinsdorf is looking for other people to pay for his damn stadium, and it's already none. You're not going to get it. As I say with other people, he's 88 years old right now. Can't take that money with you, Jerry. Put $300, $400, $500 million down and build a new stadium. That would be your legacy. Yeah, it'll still be shitty after all. But if you leave the stadium as your lasting legacy to White Sox fans, at least you'll have some type of bit of due to them and say, hey, I might not have been the greatest owner, but I gave you a showplace for baseball before I left here.
Yeah, and I mean, Dane Perry in the article, again, over at CBSSports.com, mentions that when Jerry bought the Sox for $20 million in 1981, the Tribune bought the Cubs.
Yeah.
Right? GN.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whoever bought him in 81 bought him for a similar price. Yeah. And now the Cubs are like 3 times the value of the Chicago White Sox. So, I mean, you've just seen over his 40-year legacy that with the loss of Comiskey 1 and no home for your TV rights like they have with Marquee, and they've been able to continue Wrigley's legacy, you've just kind of screwed up your investment. I mean, not too much because, hey, it was a nice idea to buy a team for $20 million that will sell for billions in this market, but still, like, he could have gotten more out of this investment, and he hasn't. Jorge Johnson is going to end us by saying, okay, but they're not going to lose 200 games. Let's think positively. So there you go. They cannot lose 200 games in 2024. We'll have a celebration.
Don't put it past the White Sox.
Well, I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if it's feasible, but the White Sox, they could prove that anything is possible. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. That's Herb Lawrence, our CHGO White Sox community leader. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow him at EctorWall23. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. Shout out to Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Shout out to Sarah, our producer. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Hit that thumbs up button, and we will see you later. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.